Hi guys, in this episode of Shri series, we'll talk about adding and subtracting algebraic fractions again with the emphasis of more practice. Alright, now if you look at the previous video that I had uploaded before, we had the denominators having only the numbers, all right? But in this situation, we've got two questions where the denominators are algebraic expressions, all right? So it's good that students get exposed to the variety of questions in terms of whether you've got a numerator, which is a number, or a denominator that is an expression. So in that way, the more I show these videos, you get more confident in answering more complex questions, all right? So what I'll do is, let's look at question number one. I'll go through that. Question number one is 4 over x minus 7 plus 3 over x plus 2, all right? Now, I did mention that when you had numbers, all right, so like if you had two numbers in your denominator like 4 and 2, your lowest common multiple will become 4, all right? If you had 3 and 9, your lowest common multiple will be 9, all right? So when you have numbers, you just have to pick the lowest number that could be easily divisible by the both pairs. However, in this question here, we don't have numbers. We've got just algebraic expressions. So if you look here, x minus 7 and x plus 2. You can't just go and say, oh, look, I've got a 7 and a 2, so my lowest common multiple is going to be 14. It doesn't work that way. I've seen students make that mistake. In a situation or scenario like this, when you've got denominators which are predominantly algebraic expressions, all you got to do is include both of them as brackets. I'll explain to you what I mean by that. So when you've got two expressions x minus 7 and x plus 2 and you're finding the lowest common multiple, all you got to do is simply put those pairs together as a bracket. So this is what I'll do. I'll put x minus 7 and x plus 2. That's all you need to do. It's pretty straightforward. So you just put those numbers there, all right? What do we do from there? Exactly the same way of adding and subtracting numerical fractions. All you need to do is divide the denominator, and the answer you get, you times your numerator, all right? So what happens when we get x minus 7, x plus 2, and divided by x minus 7, all right? So in the previous videos, I did show you how to actually visualize this question and divide, all right? So what I'll do is I'll explain it here so that when we solve this question, you'll be able to decipher it on your own, all right? So what do we do here? X minus 7, x plus 2. So the first thing, again, I'm putting my arrow just to say I'm dividing the denominator, and then I'm timesing my numerator, all right? So what I'll do is on the side here, I'll just put an asterisk here, and I'll just move this a little bit so in that way you can see what I'm actually doing here. Please bear with me. All right, there we go. So x minus 7, x plus 2, all right, you can see I've just literally put that there, divided by x minus 7, all right? This is exactly what I'm doing. So x minus 7, x plus 2 divided by x minus 7. All right. Now, you could mentally work this out because you know x minus 7, x plus 2 divided by x minus 7. That cancels out. The x minus 7 cancels out. And what you end up getting is x plus 2. But for those who are beginning to solve these questions, I thought it's good that I explain it a little bit in detail, so in that way you understand what's actually going on. So x minus 7, x plus 2 divided by x minus 7, that's exactly the same. So what do we get? We get x plus 2. So we've divided the denominator, and the next thing we need to do is multiply the numerator, all right? All you got to do is just literally put 4 there. That's all you need to do. You don't need to further complicate things, all right? You leave that for the next step, all right? So same thing here. X minus 7, x plus 2 divided by x plus 2. You will notice that x plus 2 is common, so they'll cancel out. So what happens? You're going to get x minus 7. All right, so what have we done? We have divided the denominator, and the answer we get, we times your numerator, all right? So we've got x minus 7 because x plus 2 is common, and then you times your numerator. You put 3 there. All right, that's exactly what you need to do. All right, so again, just like the previous question, we need to expand. And what does expansion encompass? It enables you to get rid of your brackets. So 4 times x becomes 4x, and 4 times 2 becomes plus 8 or positive 8. You put a plus there. Just remember, the reason why you've put a plus there is because there's a plus there. So we're consistent with our sign. All right, 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 7. Remember, when you multiply a positive by a negative number, your final answer will have a negative number. So that's going to be negative 21. Divide this by x minus 7, x plus 2. So you can see you're consistent with your denominator. Always do a checklist. Are my denominator signs consistent? If they are, you're on the right track. All right, what do we do next? Now, by now you guys would know you rearrange them. So you group your like terms. So again, I like to put a tick on the x's and then put a double tick on the numbers. So in that way, you know, all right, these are like terms and 8 and negative 21 are like terms. I know in beginner's phase, we used to put different shapes, put a circle on a group of terms and then a square on another group of terms to visually get you guys to understand. But I think using this method, you guys know already anyway. So the next thing we need to do is to rearrange. So what do? 4x plus 3x plus 8 minus 21 over x minus 7, x plus 2. All right. So 4x plus 3x, all right, is, I'll just write the answer here. We don't have much space here. So 4x plus 3x is 7x. And 8 minus 21 is negative 13 divided by x minus 2, x plus 2. Can I simplify that further? No, I can't. So we leave the answer just like that. All right. So you can see the difference between the previous video that I uploaded. Your denominators were only numbers. In this case, your denominators are algebraic expressions. Now you know what we need to do. We just literally put the numbers there. All right. Divide the denominator and you times the numerator. You expand, you rearrange, and then you simplify. This is exactly what we're doing. All right. So let's look at this question here. Again, similar type. 8 over 3x minus 2 minus 3 over 1 minus 2x. So what do we do there? Draw a line there. Again, just like the previous question, what's happened is we now need to include both these expressions as my lowest common multiple. That's all I need to do. All right. What do I do next? Again, divide the denominator and times your numerator. So put that there. Like I said in the previous video, you don't need to put these arrows. This is just to illustrate what I'm exactly doing. When you guys are answering questions, you don't need to do that. All I'm looking for is a thorough work methodology, all right, to work and show you're working completely. All right. So 3x minus 7, 1 minus 2x divided by 3x minus 7. Pretty straightforward. These two get cancelled out and that remains. All right. So what do we do there? 1 minus 2x. And then you times it by 8. Again, literally put that there. You don't need to further complicate things. All right. So what we've done is we've divided that by that and we remain with 1 minus 2x and then we times it by 8. Great. Put a negative sign there because we're consistent. We got to be consistent with the signs just like in the previous question. 3x minus 2, 1 minus 2x divided by 1 minus 2x. What remains is 3x minus 2. So what I do, I put 3x minus 2 and then you times it by 3, which is there. All right. Now, what do we do next? We now need to expand. We get rid of the brackets. You guys are now experts in this by now. So literally put the arrows there to show exactly what we're doing. So 8 times 1 is 8. Put a minus there. 8 times 2x is negative 16x. And 3 times 3x or negative 3 times 3x is negative 9x. And negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. Again, please pay attention with using your signs, all right? And then divide it over 3x minus 2, 1 minus 2x. What do we do next? Group our like terms, all right? Doesn't matter which order, whether you start with numbers or letters, as long as you've grouped them properly, all right? So what do we do there? We go 8 plus 6, we are rearranging. You can see I'm consistent with my sign. Minus 16x minus 9x divided by 3x minus 2, 1 minus 2x. All right, so we've rearranged. 8 plus 6 is 14. And negative 16x minus 9x is negative 25x over 3x minus 2, 1 minus 2x. Can I simplify that again? I can't. All right, so that is my final answer. All right, so key things to note when you are adding or subtracting fractions, where your denominator algebraic fractions, literally put them there and bracket them as pairs. Divide the denominator times the numerator, all right? And then expand them, rearrange them, and then you simplify it, all right? I did say also in the previous video, when you are answering these types of questions, you need to understand other basic topics. So if you look at this question, if you were to ask me what topics you need to understand beforehand, the first one, you need to add and subtract fractions. If you don't know that, this question is going to be hard. The second one, you need to learn how to expand, as you can see here. If you don't know how to expand, this question is going to be hard. The third one, you need to know how to group terms together, like terms or unlike terms. If you don't know how to do that, this question is going to be hard. And the last one is you need to simplify. So you can see you've got 3 to 4 topics that you need to understand beforehand in order to solve this question. All right, so that's really how we add and subtract algebraic fractions from here. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay tuned for my next set of videos.